All right, welcome back. Ultra Uncovered. We're talking with today Mary Denholm ahead of the Leadville 100 2024 edition. And super excited to have you joining us, Mary. Excited to get to know you a little bit and talk about the race that is coming up very soon here. So thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Awesome. So starting with, I think I may have first seen your name or heard about you kind of with Rabbit. I don't know if you were, working for them but then I saw that you were running roads, and then all of a sudden you were on the trails. And so just a little bit about maybe your background with running. Tell us a little bit about just your brief history with the sport for those who may not know you.
Sure. So I grew up in Maryland and I split time in Vermont actually with my family. And so, kind of a fun fact is I was more into alpine ski racing growing up than I was into running. I did run for 4 years in high school, and then I ended up running in college too. But my goal in high school was to race alpine ski racing Division 1, and I did. And then, moved back to Maryland. I actually went to law school. I practiced law for 10 years and didn't run for 6 years, like didn't have time, went to school at night. It was all consuming, and started back in 2015 with competitive running. I did my first marathon in college, 2006 Vermont City Marathon. Didn't do another one until 2015. And starting in 2015, it was just 1 to 2, sometimes 3 road marathons a year. Obviously, COVID threw a wrench in some of that, but I've done 16 road marathons. I love my journey. I started with a 3:39 and worked my way down to 2:36, and I have always wanted to race on the trails. Like, I've always wanted to do ultra. I didn't have the work-life balance. I didn't live in a place where I felt I could do it effectively. I didn't have the right people in my life, like coach, everything, to do it until honestly this past year. And so I wanted to focus on the roads when I was, not having work-life balance. And, it's like, you can do the same mileage, but like much quicker, right? than like with trail. So I had some goals on the roads that I wanted to accomplish first, and I did that, and then switched over in this year to trail and ultra after the trials in Orlando. That was always my intention, was to roll that fitness into ultra running. And I'm so happy to be here, so happy to be finally doing this. Like, I just love my training. I love every day. And so like I said, I had been a lawyer, committed 10 years to that career. And then I was working in marketing. I worked for a marketing agency. And like you said, I did work for Rabbit on their first marketing team for about 18 months. And then I relocated, because at that time I had been living in Santa Barbara. I relocated to Erie, Colorado, which is where I live and train now.
That's amazing. And honestly, I feel like you're being a little bit modest with it. You are a two-time Olympic trials qualifier, including after they moved the standard to 237. And I did see that you were a part of the Nike Dreamweaver project. So I was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about that, your partnership with Nike, and then like, are they still supporting you in any way? How is that leading into your running on the trails in the current year?
Yeah, so they had reached out back in 2021. They were starting the Dreamweaver program, and it was really just such an amazing program to be a part of, that they were investing in women's running. And it started with gear support, so like shoes, and then it rolled into clothes, some travel, all of that. And I mean, I thought I had hit the lottery. Like, those shoes are so expensive.
Yeah.
And so, what I really loved about it was just the shared community with other women going for this big goal, because that was a big drop. It was hard for us. And I don't remember how many women were in the Nike program. I think there were 150, and only 15 of us made it. So, I mean, that just shows, and the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, it was like 500 and something women last time, and I don't remember the stats now, like maybe 200 or 170, something like that this time. I mean, it was hard. I knew I could do it. Like, I really truly believed I could do it. I knew, I'm a coach. I've been coaching since 2018. I'm an athlete myself since I was like 13 in the sport. So like, I have a very realistic assessment of like where my fitness is and what I can do. And I knew I could do it with the right build, but I needed also like the right day to do it. And like, there's so many women who I know could have done it if they had gotten like a better weather day, or, it's just like, it all comes down to one day, right? And like, you can know you're ready and you still have to execute on the day. But yeah, so that program ended in February with the trials. And then they reached out after, like, I thought it was over. And they said they wanted to continue to support with shoes for trail. So I am supported with gear. I am not a paid contracted athlete. I fully self-support. So it's been awesome to have their support with trail shoes. And I didn't expect it to continue past the Olympic trials. So that was a bonus.
Well, yeah, I have a feeling that will only increase as you've been showing kind of what you can do on the trails. And speaking of that, kind of looks like, I guess it's been a bit of a summer of Leadville for you. So maybe talk to us a little bit about that. You won both the Leadville Trail Marathon and the Silver Rush 50, a couple weeks apart from one another. Very fast times on both. I guess, what is it about Leadville? Like, were you really going in thinking I'm all in on this whole, not like the Lead Woman, but the whole series? And like, what do you like about Leadville, and anything you want to say about kind of those?
Well, I love it up here. I've been to Leadville like every summer for a while now. I was up here last summer a little bit. I came up and was here the weekend of the 100. Ran Hope Pass, saw some of the race, and like, it's amazing the difference a year can make. 'Cause now I'm about to do it. And I love to come up here as often as I can. And thankfully Erie's not that far away, so it can be a day trip if I want. And when I was thinking about how I wanted my summer to play out, I wasn't originally planning to do this, but I was living and training for 6 weeks up in Buena Vista with a friend and athlete that I coach who raced High Lonesome. It was his idea to do it. And he had reached out in February and asked if I wanted to do that. And I said yes. And so that started like June 9th or 10th and went through High Lonesome weekend. And when I was thinking about when would be a good year to do Leadville, because it's like top of my list for races that I've wanted to do, is the 100. What a better time than when I've been living and training high to, if I qualified at the marathon or the 50, which they were a week apart actually. And I've never raced.
Yeah, that's
I've never
right.
I've never done back-to-back races. Yeah, I've never done any back-to-back races ever in my life, so might as well start with ultras, right?
Too bad.
It was my coach's idea to do them both, because I put myself on the wait list for both, and I was like, I'll just take whatever one takes me. And when they both took me, he was like, you should do them both. And I was like, really? And he said, let's go into it with the goal of getting the entry at the marathon, see how you recover. You can always do the 50 as a training run, or if like you're nursing some type of like niggle or you're feeling fatigued, we can just scrap the 50. But I felt great for both, and so I did both. And yeah, it's been a very fun summer. And then after my time in Buena Vista ended, I just extended my time up here. And so I've been living and training up in some of the most beautiful places Colorado has to offer this summer, and I've loved every second of it.
Man, that's fantastic. You didn't just like go in to get a coin. I mean, a sub 4 hour time at the Leadville Trail Marathon, I think there's maybe only one other woman that's ever done it. So, it was a fantastic time. And obviously you still ran really, really well at Silver Rush a week later. So very, very impressive. How has your road running background really supported kind of your success on the trails here? And you mentioned your coach. I'd love to hear who that is and who you're working with.
Matt Daniels. And okay. I've been with him since February. He's been an amazing fit. Just similar background, right? Road, turn, trail. So
Yeah.
I love that. And I was very intentional about who I wanted to hire to coach me, because I don't want to lose my road speed. That is a differentiator. And I want to be able to keep that always. And I love this so much that I can't imagine like not pursuing ultra, like going forward. Like I'm happy to be here. I've wanted to be here in this space. I love it so, like, I love my training every day. I have so much fun. And what I love about Matt's training, which is the way I would want to train myself, but I have no desire to train myself. Like, I want to have a coach always. I need someone to, like, I'm very good at just, you tell me what to do and I go execute it. Is he mixes road workouts with, like, you know, climbing workouts with hill workouts. So I'm hitting the roads, hitting similar times, like the same or better as when I was training to qualify and race the Olympic trials. Like, I still have that speed, which is awesome. Huge credit to him for how he structures my training, that I can still throw down very similar threshold and marathon tempos, like even as recently as last week. So I always want to keep that road speed. And it's translated to a lot of, I would say, climbing speed for me. I'm a very efficient climber, and like when I'm sent to do like an uphill tempo, like that's something that is relatable to me, especially when it's like a threshold uphill tempo. I'm like, I know how that's supposed to feel. I got that. And it's also translated to me being a very good pacer. Like, I have a very good internal effort meter for myself, and that's translated to trail. And I didn't know if it would, but that's definitely been a benefit, is like being so dialed with splits on roads, while like I couldn't wait to get away from that, because it's like I was fighting for like hundreds of seconds, right? Like, you know, so it's like exhausting to train and race that way all the time. It's helped me have such a good feel for like pace and effort. And I've been a student of like heart rate training since before it was trendy. Like 2018, I was already starting to do that. And so I came into the sport very aware of like that zone 1, the zone 2, the zone 3, and just like knowing how things need to feel. And that's translated. And like when I raced the marathon, the Leadville Marathon and the 50, like I felt very within myself the whole time. Like, I executed those exactly as I wanted. When I gave splits to my crew, I ran those splits, and I didn't look at my watch. Like, I only checked in a couple times on climbs with my heart rate, but like, I just, like, I know what I want to do, and I know where I should be, and I tend to run that. So that's been a huge benefit, I would say, as well, coming from road.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're just seeing it more and more, right? That the times are getting so fast that if you don't have that speed behind you to start with, it's like, are you even going to be able to contend? And then if you're able to, right, translate it into, like you're saying, the climbing, and you can descend on, you know, somewhat technical terrain, it's like, that's just a really massive, you know, amazing combination to be able to put out there. So, yeah, it's really cool to see, because we've seen so many, you know, fast road marathoners come into the sport that maybe haven't had that same success. And I don't know if you attribute any of that to your skiing background or like strength aspects from that or not, but I mean, you can comment on that. But then I want to go into, you know, kind of 100-mile distance. How are you feeling? What are you looking forward to first 100?
Well, admittedly, descending is still a work in progress. And I and I was joking with my coach the other day. I was like, you know, I used to like send it down ski slopes. Like, I'm able to send it down these running trails, getting better. I would say that's definitely my area of opportunity to continue working on that. And honestly, I probably just need to be sent downhill fast and just get over it. Yeah. And what was your other question?
Yeah. So just the 100-mile distance, thinking about that, going into it. What are you excited about? Like, it's, you know, it's a long way. It's your first one. So kind of just how are you feeling?
I'm 37 years old. I've been doing this sport since I was 13, and I'm about to do something new. How exciting is that? Like, I love this sport, that there's so much we get to do and explore and just challenge ourselves in a new way. And, you know, every time we step up and go to do something that we've never done before, that unknown is so exciting. That's such a thrill for me. And I feel great. Like, I trust my training. I trust my fitness. I know it's going to be hard. I know there's going to be challenges out there, but I feel ready. Like, I feel very prepared. Huge credit to my coach, Matt Daniels. Like, I really feel very comfortable going into this. And I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. Like, when I think about my first 100, it's very special for me that it's Leadville. I think this is a beautiful race. Like, the mountains are gorgeous. It's got a little bit of everything. And I think that's what appeals to me about it, is it's not just a mountain race. It's not just a flat 100. Like, it's got a lot of roads, like, you know, dirt. There's some asphalt, there's trail, Hope Pass ×2, that's hard. So it's got a little bit of everything. And I really like that variety. And I think it's going to be a great day, and I'm really excited for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your crew setup, pacers? Like, what's this going to look like on the day for the team that's going to be supporting you?
Yeah, so I got a team of 3. I have 2 of my closest women friends in the sport. I used to live in Flagstaff. I lived there in 2020. And I have my friend Courtney Barnes and Lindsay McDonald coming. And
I'm good at Lindsay.
They're my pacers. And, you know, they introduced me to like mountain running. Like, I didn't know. They had me in the Grand Canyon, and I was like, people run this? So they helped me find my footing back in 2020 when I was a baby trail runner. And like, they were so patient waiting for me at like trail junctions. Like, it's very special that they're coming to help me do this and be a part of this. And then I also have my friend, Mike Herrera. He is also my PT and a training buddy. He works at Evolution in Golden. And so he's coming up. He's going to help crew. So that's my team. And I feel very, very good about my team supporting me on the day.
So cool. You have a super strong climber in Lindsay. I mean, Courtney too, but Courtney's super fast. Like, that's a pretty stellar combo right there. So that'll be awesome to see them. Are they going to each do a section?
Yeah, and we haven't talked about like which section yet, but we will. And then my mom and sister also live in Erie. They're going to come up that afternoon. I was like, please don't come to the 4 a.m. start. Like, it's a long day. They're going to drive up in the afternoon, so they'll be at the finish, which will be very special.
Nice. Yeah, it was both mine and Russ's first hundreds as well. My dad did come to the start, and he was exhausted by the end because I had a very difficult last 30 miles. So that's a good call to not have your parents come to the start. It's like unnecessary to see you for 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. How about your gear? Are you wearing anything special shoe wise? Like, as someone who probably knows road shoes really, really, really well, how do you feel about translating that to the trails, or is there, to the degree you can share, is there, what are you planning to wear?
I'm planning to wear the Zagama 2, Nike Zagama 2. The whole time. I'll have another pair to change into, but I feel very confident in that being my race shoe for all the terrain. Like, I have run this entire course now. Like, I haven't run it in both directions, but I've run, the entire out and back in different directions. And I wouldn't go with a road shoe here. Like, I just think, it's just enough rocks mixed in there, and like that I wouldn't go with a road shoe personally, and I feel good about the Zagama.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Cool. I guess one more thing on training. It just looked like it looks like you put everything on Strava. You have high mileage. So speak to that. Is that road influence? Have you always trained like high volume? Do you feel like that's always kind of worked for you, or speak a little bit to your kind of thought. And I know Matt's probably programming it, but I'm sure you have input. So,
I've been a consistent runner since 2015. Knock on wood. The most I've missed is 5 weeks. So you know, what I was doing in 2015, what I was doing in 2018, 2020, like it's just grown. You know, like people look at what I'm doing now and it looks like so much, but I've grown into that. And I wouldn't have been able to do this years ago. There's so much that goes into it. It's not just the miles, right? It's eating like a champ in my daily life. It's fueling on these runs. It's doing strength. It's making sure that I take care of myself. It's being intuitive. If I have to miss something, I just miss it. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme. But I mean, yeah, people think they need to hit a certain mileage or a certain milestone to achieve a certain goal. And that's just not true. You just have to work with meeting yourself where you're at and know that like what you do is going to build, and you have to be patient and you have to be consistent. Because what people don't see right now is back in 2015, I was running 30-mile weeks. Yeah. And, you know, when I qualified for the first Olympic trials running that, I ran 2:42. I did it off of mostly 60-mile weeks. A lot of quality. Like I wasn't hitting high volume then. This past cycle, I was hitting a lot of 80s and 90s and like sometimes 100 with road, but like asphalt feels very different.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mary, we are very excited to see you out there. I'm going to be out there pacing somebody else as well. And we'll have a bunch of people from Castle Rock Run Club out there. And so we'll all be rooting for you and for everybody out there to kind of have their best day. And obviously, like having the confidence that you do in your training and the confidence in the preparation and the confidence to know that you can be successful out there. You are, you've got to do it on the day, but you've got a great leg up with just those pieces of it. And I love to hear all of that. And so just as we close out here, I'm wondering if you might just be able to share with us some of your goals for the race, whether they be performance or just how you feel on the day, whatever you want to share in terms of your goals for the day.
Yeah, we may have lost Mary at the very end here.
Oh, no.
That's okay. We'll follow up and let everyone know if she wants to share goals, because that was a cliffhanger right there. So